What's up, guys? Today we're doing some upgrades on my personal rig. Upgrade number 1, 3 sticks of DDR3, 2 gig, 1600 megahertz. It's not a lot, and it's not very fast, but it's what the computer will take. Also, we're going to i7 980. So for those of you that don't know, the 980 is a first gen i7, which is the same as what's in my rig now. Currently using the i7 930. This one is a 6-core though. Also clocked faster out of the box. It's a 3.3 gigahertz, whereas mine out of the box is a 2.8, although I have overclocked it to 4 gigahertz. So it'll be interesting to see the performance metrics there. But really looking forward to seeing how this benchmarks compared to the 4-core with its base clock, and then we're going to try to overclock and see if we get any more juice out of it. And see how much more performance gains that gets. It's not only in gaming, but also in video editing, rendering, all that stuff too, because this is my workstation as well as a gaming rig. So let's get set up and we'll get started. You might remember my workstation rig from the video I did on upgrading Lady Bacchus PC, which I'll stick a card to over there. You can click on that and go check out that video. And also I'll have a link to the blog post explaining what's up with these fan filters. Good reason for it, but basically they were homemade and subsequently free. So inside we've got a boatload of fans because this thing gets very, very hot. We have to keep it cool. One other thing we're going to be doing today is pulling off this heat sink, getting the fans off of it, and getting this thing cleaned out. I'm getting some ridiculously high temperatures when I'm actually doing rendering, like upwards of 95 degrees Celsius while rendering, which is extremely hot. Granted, the i7 in this generation does go up to about 110 before it starts throttling, before it's actually in like dangerous range, but I'd still like to see that a lot lower, especially with, not to a C14 on there. This thing should be keeping that significantly cooler than that. So my assumption is that it's clogged up a bit, so we're gonna take that off, clean it up while we're in here doing the rest of this. I've had to get my fancy screwdriver. Well, I am a huge fan of the C14. Installation is a little difficult if you don't use the screwdriver they came with. Mainly because you have to go in through the fans in these little holes in the grate here to get to the mounting screws. And unless you just have a ridiculously long screwdriver, it's very difficult to do. But aside from that, very, very good cooler. Highly recommend it. Really recommend anything not to, honestly. These guys are really passionate about their cooling, and more than just cooling, they're really passionate about the temperatures that you get while you're cooling. Not temperatures, the acoustic performance. They like really super quiet coolers. They make really some of the quietest fans on the market. Oh, that's really gross. Quiet fans are always so good when your filter's full of dust. So pro tip I just learned: don't take both screws off all the way until you've loosened them both off, because that was not easy. Alright, so this guy just pulls straight out, and I have this thing wired some kind of weird, so bear with me. Also, really terrible thermal paste application on here. It could be part of the reason I'm having some cores hotter than others. I'll definitely do it. So we need to use more thermal paste than the recommended, which was the size of the grain of rice. So let's get a better look at that so I can show you what I'm talking about. So I went with the grain of rice method on this. I have a pretty good size application, and apparently the LGA 1366 sockets are a little bit bigger than standard, so that actually was not enough thermal paste, and it didn't actually spread well enough. You can see on the cooler here as well. It's really gross. So that could explain some of my thermal issues. So we'll make sure we do a good bit more thermal paste once we actually get the CPU changed out. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and I'll grab some paper towels. We'll clean this up, and then we'll do that CPU swap. Alright, so clean the thermal paste off. We're going to be using isopropyl alcohol, 91%. And also on the cooler itself. Ideally you'd use a lint-free cloth for this, I just don't have any lint-free cloths right now. Beautiful. Nice and shiny. I can almost see my reflection in that. Alright, so I think I can do this without taking the rest of that mounting bracket off. Okay. And yeah, we're gonna have to take the mounting arms off. Okay. And we'll just remove the old socket. Be really careful not touching the pins. And like I said, this is the i7 930 coming out. And the i7 980 going in. So on newer systems you have this golden triangle, and on the motherboard they'll have a little golden triangle to match up with it. On this board they don't have that, so what we're doing, we're going to look for these notches on the side of it. Notches on the side, which are actually going to key it into the socket. And there are notches here and here, which correspond to notches here and here. So it's going to socket in just like that. And once you socket it in, just give it a little shake. Put down the bracket, pull down the retention arm, lock it in place, and you're ready to reapply the thermal paste, put the cooler back on. But before we do that, we need to clean these fans off, we need to put the brackets back on, we need to clean the cooler out. Because this cooler, as nice as it is really dusty. So let's go do that. Alright, so we've got the fins cleaned out. We sprayed out really nicely with the compressed air. Got our fans cleaned off as well. Again, hold on to the fans when you spray them off so they don't generate current back into the system, which I talked about before. If it's a different episode of Fix It Friday, I'll link it in the corner. So anyway, with the LGA 1366 boards on X58, they actually did triple channel memory. So we have 2 sets of 3 channels. And these are Corsair 2 gig sticks at 1600. So I currently have 6 gigs in here. I previously had 12. I had 1 stick die, so I took the other 4 gigs out and put them in Ladybach's PC, which I've already linked in a card in the corner previously. So if you want to see that upgrade, it's pretty cool. I pulled the RAM out of here, built her a new system, swapping out the internals of that system. It's pretty fun. Check it out. Anyway, we're adding in some HyperX DDR3, also 2 gigs, also 1600, just to keep everything consistent. But anyway, it's line up your notches. This is hard to do with one hand. Line up one there, pop in one side, pop in the other. You'll see little tabs notch up there. Super duper easy. I'm sorry about the shaky camera work. I couldn't get the tripod to get in here, so I'm having to hold it. Nice as my tripod is, it doesn't have like a boom arm or anything to get overhead shots, so just kind of make do. Alright, so I've got the Corsair in channel A and the HyperX in channel B. That'll give me triple channel operation on both of those, which actually performs marginally faster than dual channel, but obviously it wasn't fast enough that it justified the price, so they stopped doing it in the later generations, even though DDR3 technically will support triple channel. Anyway, let's get this thermal paste on here, get the cooler back on, and go run some more benchmarks. That's the sound it makes when you use the tripod, by the way. Aha. Alright, so we put the thermal paste in the system by just throwing it in the case. Alright, so we're going again with the Noctua NTH1. I'm a big fan of this CPU paste. It does a very good job, and also it doesn't have a cure time. A lot of thermal pastes have a time that you have to run it in before it does an effective job, and the Noctua paste doesn't. It works as well as it's going to work as soon as you put it on, so that's kind of nice. So we're going to do a little more than last time and do a line there. And that way we'll make sure we have enough paste this time, because I don't think that was enough paste on there, but it definitely was not enough paste on there before. Following the school of thought of using just a to burn your rice. Alright, so we're all snugged up there. Let's get the case button back up and we'll fire it up and see what we got. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up for the 6 Fix It Friday. I have run all the benchmarks, it's pretty exciting stuff. I did get a good little overclock out of it, but I will be doing a separate video with all the overclocking results, benchmark results. Anyway, leave me a comment down below if you have any questions or anything about the build, want to know anything about my personal rig, let me know, I'd be glad to share. Also, hit like if you liked it. Get subscribed if you're not already. Got a lot of cool content coming up. Don't miss that benchmark video. When I do get it done, I'll have a card in the corner here so you guys can see that as well. But that's gonna wrap it up, and I'll see you guys in the next one.